Why is it that in stories all over the world, the clever troublemaker always walks away while the strongest warriors end up dead or defeated? You can give the hero every advantage: muscle, weapons, a loyal army, and somehow the trickster is the one standing in the end. Sometimes they even win without anyone realizing they've won. That's the scary part. By the end of this video, you'll see why the trickster is not only timeless, but also the most dangerous kind of character you can run into. Tricksters aren't defined by being good or evil. They're defined by being unpredictable. If there's a system, they'll bend it. If there's a rule, they'll test it. In myths, this can mean literal shapeshifting, turning into an animal or another person. But in modern stories, it's often social shapeshifting. Think Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. He can blend in with pirates, nobles, or soldiers, and none of them can fully tell what side he's on. They survive by being a moving target. You think you know their plan, then, halfway through, they throw it out the window. Heroes and villains both misjudge them. The hero thinks, I can beat them with honor. The villain thinks, I'll crush them with force. The trickster's answer, change the game so neither of those strategies works. And it's not always subtle. Bugs Bunny doesn't just dodge danger. He turns his enemies into clowns, making them lose on their own. That's the trickster's favorite move. Not just winning, but making you wonder how you lost so badly without even noticing. Every culture seems to have a trickster, which means humans, across time and geography, keep telling themselves these stories. Probably because deep down, we admire the kind of mind that refuses to play fair. In Norse mythology, Loki starts as a problem solver for the gods. He gets them out of tight spots with clever schemes. But the same brain that saves them also ends up tearing their world apart. He's the one who sets in motion the death of Balder, the most beloved of the gods, and that's what leads to Ragnarok. In Chinese myth, Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, is so chaotic he wages war against heaven itself. He steals immortality, defeats celestial armies, and survives execution more than once. The gods finally force him into a Buddhist monk's service, not because he's suddenly noble, but because it's the only way to keep his chaos contained. In West African stories, Anansi the spider tricks people, gods, and animals alike. He once managed to steal all the world's wisdom and store it away for himself. He doesn't overpower anyone. He makes them outthink themselves. Modern pop culture keeps doing the same thing. The Joker in The Dark Knight uses no superpowers, just an understanding of human psychology. He wins not by killing Batman, but by making Batman break his own moral rules. Most characters follow a predictable set of rules. Heroes stick to honor, morality, or tradition. Villains chase power or revenge. Both sides are bound by those goals. The trickster isn't bound to anything. They can help the hero in one scene and betray them in the next. They don't care about consistency, they care about winning in the moment. Loki can switch from loyal ally to sworn enemy overnight. Jack Sparrow allies with whoever gives him the best chance at survival, often betraying that same person minutes later. He survives because he's unpredictable to the point where nobody can make a reliable plan against him. Bugs Bunny flips predator-prey dynamics for fun. In Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack tricks opponents into defeating themselves, like convincing two enemies to fight each other while he slips away with the treasure. In video games, Flowey from Undertale literally rewrites the rules of the game to make sure you can't rely on the normal mechanics. GLaDOS in Portal changes the very goals you think you're playing toward. This is the trickster's power. Not to win a fair fight, but to make sure there's no such thing as a fair fight. Heroes often have an expiration date. Their stories build toward a final test. Win or lose, that's the end. They're tied to a single role, and when that role is fulfilled, the curtain drops. Tricksters don't work like that. They don't have one true purpose that defines them. They survive by shifting roles whenever the situation demands it. If one identity stops working, they pick up another. They're like water. Whatever shape the container is, they'll fit into it, and when the container breaks, they'll flow somewhere else. Loki is a perfect example. In the Norse myths, he's there from the earliest tales, both helping and hurting the gods. When his schemes bring trouble, he finds a way to talk himself back into favor, at least for a while. He only finally falls when the story of the gods themselves comes to an end at Ragnarok. Modern fiction follows the same pattern. Jack Sparrow gets caught, escapes, makes a deal, breaks the deal, and then does it all again. He survives because nobody can ever predict which version of him they're going to get, the coward, the schemer, or the unexpected hero. The Joker in The Dark Knight is untouchable for a similar reason. Batman is locked into his moral code. The police are bound by the law. The Joker can pivot endlessly because he doesn't have rules to break, only opportunities to create new chaos. Even when he's caught, you get the feeling he's exactly where he wants to be. Another good example is Q from Star Trek: The Next Generation. He's not bound by human morality or Federation law. Every time you think the crew has beaten him, he changes the scenario, rewrites reality, or walks away laughing. His existence isn't tied to a single win or loss, so he never has a final battle the way a hero does. Not all Trickster chaos is funny. Some of it causes real damage. In certain coyote myths, his greed or selfishness leads to famine, loss, or death. Loki's trick that gets Balder killed doesn't just hurt feelings, it destroys the harmony of the Norse gods forever. Modern examples hit the same note. The Joker doesn't just kill people, he corrupts them. In The Dark Knight, Harvey Dent's transformation into Two-Face is the Joker's real victory. In Game of Thrones, Littlefinger plays the role of a political trickster. His manipulations bring down entire kingdoms, not through armies, but through whispers and lies. Part of why we're drawn to these characters is uncomfortable. We enjoy watching someone break the system, even when it's destructive. The Trickster hasn't gone anywhere, they've just changed their costumes. Bugs Bunny is still a cultural symbol for chaotic neutral. Jack Sparrow has become shorthand for the lovable rogue who survives everything. In anime, Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter constantly shifts between ally and enemy, serving only his own amusement. Video games have embraced the Trickster more than ever. Handsome Jack in Borderlands 2 mocks you, manipulates you, and changes the stakes constantly. Flowey and GLaDOS actively mess with your expectations of how the story should work. The same core traits from Myth are still there: wit over strength, survival through unpredictability, and the ability to make you laugh even as you're losing to them. The Trickster's danger isn't that they win in the way a hero or villain wins. It's that they make everyone else play a different game. They don't just break the rules, they make you realize the rules were never fixed to begin with. And once that happens, you can't go back to the way things were.